I quit drinking alcohol, and here's what happened. I had my first sip of alcohol when I was 16 years old. At first, I drank occasionally and in moderation. But as time went on, I slowly began drinking more frequently, and each time I drank, the quantity I consumed increased. In the beginning, it did not take much for me to get a slight buzz and get into a good mood. I would go out with my friends, and we would enjoy beers or rum and cokes together, often during happy hour. It felt like a rite of passage into adulthood, something that all my friends did. My father drank often, and so did most of his friends. My mother would sometimes join him, although she seemed to drink a lot less. When my parents invited friends over to the house for dinner, or when we met them for a meal in a restaurant, alcohol was almost always involved. As an adolescent, I watched this happen frequently and thought that drinking alcohol was normal and prevalent in all families and at all social gatherings. It also became normal for me to hear my father slur his words at the end of the evening. As I grew older, drinking alcohol became increasingly common for me. I drank in bars with friends, I drank at home alone, I drank at social gatherings, I drank at concerts, I drank at sporting events, and I even drank with other parents at kids' birthday parties. Alcohol became a staple in my life. I began drinking much more frequently, often several days in a week. I also began drinking much more than I used to because I had become more tolerant and needed larger quantities of alcohol to get me buzzed and in a good mood. I spent ridiculous amounts of money on a night out and often blacked out at the end of the night, recalling little to nothing when I woke up. It was not uncommon for me to learn the next day that I had gotten angry the night before over something silly, or that I had insulted someone who did not deserve it. It became increasingly common to wake up with bad headaches, severely dehydrated, hungover, with the disgusting smell of alcohol emanating from my pores. I would spend a very unproductive day, laying in bed, swearing that I would stop drinking, only to do it all over again a few days later. During this period of excessive alcohol consumption, my diet was horrible. I gained weight. My mindset became negative. I skipped going to the gym and stopped exercising, and I said and did numerous things to friends and loved ones that I regret till this day. In short, I was wasting my life and not being the best version of myself. Maybe one day I will make another video about all the mistakes I made while being drunk. One day, after waking up hungover and disappointed in myself yet again, I knew that the time had come for me to make some big changes in my life. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I had to face the truth. I was drinking too much, and it was getting me nowhere. It was time to take responsibility and act. That's the day I stopped drinking. I had read that stopping drinking cold turkey can have serious health consequences for some people, even death. I paid close attention to the telltale signs and, fortunately, did not experience any serious health issues when I stopped. I had taken a break from drinking many times before, but I had always resumed the habit. This time I decided I was done for good. Surprisingly, once I made up my mind, giving up alcohol became much easier to do. Now let me get to the good part. I want to tell you about all the things that happened once I stopped drinking alcohol. I am not going to pretend that I did not experience some challenges, because I did. For example, I had to find new activities to engage in and new places to visit because I did not want to hang out at the usual bars I used to frequent. But, all in all, these challenges were not too difficult. I was fed up and sick of drinking. I was determined and was on a mission. Here are 12 ways my health improved after I stopped drinking alcohol. Better sleep. Within days, I began sleeping better. Since alcohol disrupts REM sleep, quitting allowed me to sleep deeper and wake up more refreshed. Better hydration. Because alcohol has a dehydrating effect, I was no longer dehydrated and my skin started to look much better. Clearer thinking. After quitting alcohol, I began to think more clearly without all that mental fuzziness. More energy. I started to notice that my energy level was increasing because my body was not trying to detox itself. Improved digestion. My digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome went away, and my appetite for healthy food returned. Acid reflux improvement. My long-standing issue with acid reflux improved dramatically. Reduced anxiety. My frequent bouts with anxiety improved, and I was able to manage it much more easily. I became a much more positive person. Lower blood pressure. My blood pressure fell substantially without taking any medication, and my resting heart rate dropped too. Weight loss. Despite regaining my appetite, I began to lose weight even though I ate till I was full. I reduced my belly fat, lost 10 pounds in a month, and people noticed and commented on the difference. Lower triglycerides. Blood test readings fell by half because I was not drinking empty calories loaded with sugar. Psychological stability. I stopped having dramatic mood swings and I became more calm and relaxed. No more face puffiness and eye bags. My face lost its puffy look, and the bags under my eyes disappeared. Here are 15 ways the rest of my life improved overall after I stopped drinking. I became much happier and found joy in small things that I used to overlook when I was drinking. My outlook in life became a lot more positive, and I became grateful for my life. My career and income improved because I could focus on it better now that I was never hungover. I become more focused on my career goals. My relationships improved since I became an easier person to be around. I was more emotionally stable. My bank balance increased because I stopped wasting money on alcohol. I could clearly remember everything I did, said, and experienced the day before, since alcohol was no longer causing me to black out and forget. I began exercising more and taking responsibility for my health. It seemed natural to do so. I lost touch with some of my drinking buddies, retained some old friends who were not threatened by my new lifestyle, and met many new friends who shared my desire to not drink. I spent time on hobbies I had always enjoyed but was too hungover to pursue. I began to sleep and wake up earlier every day. This was huge for me because I used to be a night owl. I started becoming a lot more productive and I accomplished so much more. No more blowing off the entire day because of a nasty hangover. I had fewer regrets and had to apologize a lot less because I was more aware of my actions and words. I felt free. Free from alcohol, free from feeling guilty, free from hangovers, free from addiction. I saved a substantial amount of money on Uber and DoorDash because I was always sober and could drive myself everywhere. I felt proud that I was able to break away from drinking despite it being a very common and accepted activity in our society. This self-pride empowered me and gave me confidence that I could do other difficult things in my life. I started loving and respecting myself more than ever before. I felt comfortable in my own skin. I no longer felt the need to impress others and be someone else. That feeling is priceless. I have learned that it is possible to live a wonderful, exciting life without alcohol. More people are giving up drinking and many of them have become my good friends. I am much healthier and happier now that I do not drink, and I know for a fact that if I can do it, you can too.